Okay, guys, so I wanted to create this series to introduce you to some of our awesome Unstoppable Success clients, because it's really awesome for me to be able to share my journey and be able to teach you from the things that I've known, but I also think it's so important that you hear it from them too. So I want to be able to share with you these amazing, amazing women that I have the pleasure and honor of working with. I want them to share with you what they do, why they love what they do, and how they can help you in terms of reaching your goals and creating the results that you both desire and deserve in your life. So at Unstoppable Success, we know that there are a few things that commonly stop people. And working with more than 10,000 women entrepreneurs in the past few years, I see the same things come up again and again. So today I'm joined by the Fiona Drake, who is an amazing law of attraction expert, the law of attraction expert in the UK actually. She's also a mindset coach and she works with entrepreneurs and business people. So Fiona, amazing to have you here today. How are you?
Oh, great. Thank you, Nick. Thanks for having me.
Of course, so excited. So I want to really touch in on your journey and what it took to get to where you are right now. Like, I have got so much love and respect for you, and just how amazing your career has been, and watching you transition from where you were to where you are now. So how long have you actually been coaching for up until now?
It's been relatively short time, to be honest, and boy has it been a journey in that short time. I think you'll recount the time that I ended up hiring you, Nick, and it was within a day or so of me resigning from my corporate job. If you're going to do it, then do it well. Yeah, only a recent amount of time, to be honest, but incredible amount has happened in that time since I decided to venture into my own purpose and passion.
So what is that purpose and passion? Like, tell me a little bit more about that.
Okay, so my story is quite interesting in that for the last sort of 29 years or so, I had worked in the corporate world. I was a sales and marketing director in quite a masculine world in manufacturing, and I'd done incredibly well. I was very successful and I enjoyed what I did. But I got to the point I was doing it with in a way that wasn't sustainable. So I was working long hours, I wasn't seeing family and friends, I wasn't socializing. I was almost married to the job. And I think what I decided was that there must be so many females out there, high achieving women like I was, either executives or business owners, entrepreneurs, that are incredible at what they do, but maybe there's a different, smarter way of working. So it took me a little bit of a wake-up call to realize that I wasn't working in the smartest of ways. And following that, I decided then that I wanted to venture into something new, which was to, as I say, I'm the woman I kind of needed 2 or 3 years ago, as it were. So I decided there must be, if I'm feeling like this, there must be so many women out there who are doing incredibly well, but actually need to have guidance on a different way of doing things, because ultimately we don't know what we don't know, do we?
Absolutely. So you work with professionals, you work with business owners, and one of the things I love about you, I mean, even that very first time that we spoke on the phone, I was like, this woman is a badass. Like, you literally are such a badass, Fiona, and I think that shines through in everything that you do and how you support and serve your clients. So can you give me an example of like what you would actually help someone do?
I've had the honor and the privilege and the pleasure of working with some incredible, incredible women so far, even in this short time. And on a one-to-one basis, which I work on at the moment, I'm working with all sorts of business owners, entrepreneurs, maybe in recruitment, in coaching themselves, all sorts of different areas. And what I've been able to help these clients achieve is a much greater balance. So time is often one of those things that is a real challenge for people. And having time for their own passions and purpose, maybe their health and fitness, but ultimately the one driving force is their business. So if I'm working with incredible, successful business owners who want to go to the next level and work on their self-belief, maybe that inner critic, the self-sabotage we sometimes have, and also the stories that we can tell ourselves. So I work with business owners and entrepreneurs to help them change that story and change the narrative to something that they want to achieve. And in a short space of time, the transformations are incredible. And often I'm quite surprised that with these incredible, talented, confident women, it's often almost about giving permission that they can go and do these things, and having that confidant and having that cheerleader and having someone who is sharing their visions with them to take it to reality. And that's what I absolutely love about this.
It's so true, isn't it? And I feel like we're so blessed to be working in this coaching space. I know that when you're a coach, it seems like everybody around you is a coach, but that's because we're inside the bubble. In fact, there's only a tiny percentage of the world that even know what personal development is, which is absolute madness to me, because I've been working and doing things in personal development, reading all of the books and all of the things since I was a teenager, as I'm sure of you. And I think it's so beautiful that we now have this more powerful understanding of how we can actually shape and create our own reality by the thoughts that we think and the things that we do. I know that I have put manifestation into practice in my life and in my business. And actually, if people ask me and they're like, what's the most powerful things that you've done for your business? It's not necessarily like a single strategy or something that I've logically in black and white put into action. It's often those more like metaphysical things that have really created these big, powerful leaps, those quantum leaps in your success and how that shows up in your reality. So I know I manifested my Hay House book deal. I know I manifested going to Necker Island with Sir Richard Branson, like some crazy things, like when people just pop into your life. Like I had a conversation the other day when I was talking about like Nelson Mandela. And then a few days later, I met Nelson Mandela's grandson. It was literally completely wild. So these things are real, and it's completely possible for you to create a life and business using manifestation. And I know that you've done that for yourself too, Fiona. So what type of success have you had for yourself?
Oh, this gets me really excited talking about this, because this is my thing. I'm getting goosebumps now, even kind of talking about it, because we often think about the law of attraction and we think of the big things, don't we? Like the house and the relationship and the car, and that's all well and good, and that's totally available to us. But ultimately, for me, it's about living in flow, in ease, in peace, in joy, doors opening easily, opportunities landing on your lap, the right people coming in at the right time. And that for me is the key thing. You talked about sort of manifestation. I mean, really, I had my vision for my business. And within a short space of time, you know, the kind of things that I've experienced so far. I'll give you a story about when I was at your retreat in LA. You know, there we were on, I'd done a live that morning talking about how I'd gotten into, this was on a Saturday morning before I was flying back on the Sunday, how I'd gotten into the law of attraction and manifestation. And I was talking about the secret. And the very next day, myself and one of our other dear colleagues is meeting Reverend Michael Beckwith in West Hollywood the next day. I mean, you can't even make this kind of thing up. We just ended up meeting two incredible women in a bar in Venice Beach, who then said, what do you guys do? I told her what I did, and she said, you've got to come here tomorrow. And the next thing, we were actually meeting, you know, some incredible influencer and contributor into the book The Secret. So these synchronicities start to happen more and more and more, and it's all about being in the right vibration, in the right flow, and having that belief and faith that whatever is meant for you will not pass you by.
I think that's so true, and that's actually something that I noticed in your own journey, because when you came to work with, when we started working together in the accelerator, you were still in your corporate role, and you were like, you were giving up that job and transitioning out of that space. And you had this certainty and this like fierceness and this belief. You were like, I know I can do this. There's no other option. This is what I'm doing. And literally you saw like brand new clients come in. You had that big momentum, that critical mass, and that snowball effect of you being able to really call in what it is that you desire. Like, what would you say, because you've mentioned the self-belief and the having faith, like what would be like the one key thing when it comes to manifestation that you simply must do in order to get those type of results?
The first thing and the biggest thing that I would always advise is awareness of your thoughts. Because we are manifesting 24/7 and we don't know we are sometimes. So that's when we become a conscious creator. So if we can start becoming aware of our thoughts, we can then start to change those thoughts and up-level them into what we actually do want to manifest and how we want to feel and who we want to work with and what we want to bring into our life. So the biggest thing is awareness and changing the thought to something helpful.
So powerful, so powerful. And we all get caught in that downward spiral. It's so easy. And we have to really knock ourselves out of it and get into that upward spiral of like positive vibration that opens up our mindsets, that allows us to be in that creative, real sense of like free flowing joy, abundance, and on that receptive frequency. So it's super powerful. So I would love to know, so in Unstoppable Success, in our company, like I'm always looking, like I mentioned, for what it is that truly allows people to become unstoppable. And I feel like before we get into that understanding, we really need to look at what it is that commonly stops people. So is it money mindset? Is it health? Is it that you're not being honest with yourself and with your audience? Like, what would you say has been your biggest hurdle on this journey as a coach so far?
I'm going to change that slightly, because I think the obstacle or the hurdle I could have had was potentially my age.
Interesting.
So giving up the corporate world at 45, moving away from the big salary and the reputation and the title and the company car and the pension and everything else, and actually realizing that I can learn something new, I can step into a totally new discipline, and that it's never too late to learn. It's never too late to follow your dream. So age could have been a barrier to me psychologically if I'd really allowed it, but I did not allow it, because actually everything happens in divine timing. And I believe now that the journey that I've been through has brought me to this point in my life to allow me to do this the best way I know how.
That's amazing. I think it's like, if I had a dollar for every time that somebody said that to me, I would literally have so much money, because I have women that come to me and they're like, Nick, can I do this? And actually it's interesting, because you're right to say that it's age and not being too old, because some people actually say it to me about being too young. I have women that come to embark on this journey of becoming a coach and scaling a 6-figure or 7-figure business. Like, Nick, I'm only 25, am I too young? And I'm like, no. And then I have women who are like, I'm in my 40s or 50s or 60s, am I too old? I honestly think that whenever you have that resistance within yourself, it's an opportunity to use it as a point of leverage. So if you feel like you're too old, how can you actually start to market based on your experience, your wisdom? You've got like decades of experience in sales and creating success. So leverage that. If you're young, it's like leverage the energy, the enthusiasm that you have, the newness of your learning. There's always a positive spin that you can put on that. So it's such a good point. Thank you for sharing. So when it comes to creating unstoppable success, we have a proven system that we teach and we follow that helps our clients create 6 or 7 figures in their business. What would be one piece of advice that you would give to another female entrepreneur or somebody that's out there that is looking to create unstoppable success within themselves and their business? What would be your number one top tip for them?
I think it all comes down to belief that you can do this and you can do anything at any time. And testament to that is the change that I've made within a year. And you've seen that change within a year. And you can do anything if you put your mind to it. Nothing is a big enough hurdle. If you really want something, you can go for it. And you may fall over and you may have some obstacles here and there, and there may be some setbacks, but keep on going. If this means enough to you, then step into it and go for it.
Wise, wise words. Thank you so much, Fiona. You're absolutely amazing. I love you. Guys, isn't she awesome? So give us some love. Super excited to see what happens next on your journey of unstoppable success. Thank you so much for sharing.